Tonight for my pantry challenge, I wanted to make carnitas from some grass-fed homegrown beef that my father-in-law raised, and I decided to use some steaks that were needing to be used up. I usually use the steaks differently than like normal people would use steaks. I like to use the bone for making bone broth after I've cooked with them, or sometimes I will debone the meat itself, but today I just wanted to pressure cook the meat so I could use some of those flavors in my bone broth later as I was reserving the bones from these steaks for later use. So I'm just generously seasoning the steaks in my pressure cooker with some of the carnitas mix that I had on my pantry shelf that I wanted to use up. I've never used this before. Back in the day when I was a Pampered Chef consultant, I somehow ended up with a few different types of seasonings, and this was in the lineup of things that I just never got to using. So this is my way of using it up in a pantry challenge, and I've never actually had carnitas beef before, so this is completely new for us in our house. Come here. You think I will actually pour pop into our supper?
No.
You don't think I'll do it?
No, I don't think so.
You think I'm bluffing?
Yes. Okay.
Who's the cool stepmom now?
I gotta say you.
All right. I hope it's not gross.
Yeah.
So while that was pressure cooking for the next 60 minutes, I decided to work on some dessert. I need some sweetened condensed milk for what I want to make tonight. So I don't have any on my pantry. I do have some ingredients like this sugar that I made with a vanilla bean. It's a vanilla infused sugar just by simply putting a piece of a vanilla bean into the jar with some sugar, and I let it sit there for several months, and so this was the perfect recipe to use it up. I'll post below ingredients like more in proportion because this is me just kind of winging it. I don't even know exactly how much I put in for ingredients to make this evaporated condensed milk, but I will definitely, or condensed milk, sweetened condensed milk, not evaporated, sweetened condensed milk. But I will post in the description below of a more proportioned recipe. So I just added some milk and some sugar that was infused with vanilla and butter, salted butter. And that's it. I'm just going to let that simmer. I did realize that I should have used a bigger pot. I had a complete disaster. My whole stove was full of milk as it boiled over. I made a really big mess, so I just transferred it over to a larger pot. So if you are doing this sort of recipe, make sure you have it in a very large pot so that you don't have a mess, especially if you have a gas stove, because that is not safe. So I just kind of stirred this occasionally just to make sure it wasn't going to scorch on the bottom. And then I started chopping up some vegetables for our dinner tonight. And so I just found some lettuce. I had actually, for this pantry challenge, I'd allowed myself to get fresh produce, and I was getting like a head of lettuce every week for the month just because, you know, we really like to have the fresh vegetables, and Tyson prefers raw vegetables over cooked vegetables, which is one of my biggest challenges is, you know, because my family prefers raw vegetables, most of the freezer or preserved stuff is either blanched or something. There's not a lot of fresh raw stuff. So I chopped up a cucumber, or a piece of a cucumber, and some lettuce, and I'm just grating a piece of cheese that I found in the back of the fridge. It's amazing how far you can stretch cheese by just grating it, how so little can become so much. And I always, always, always reserve the very last little bit for our little dog, Molly. Molly, do you want some cheese? Huh? Cheese? Can you sit pretty? Is it pretty? Nice. All right, so the cheese is grated. Let's go check on our condensed milk. and see how far it's come. It's still pretty thin, so it has a ways to go. Just wanted to make sure it didn't scorch and stick to the sides. Our meat is done. I have it venting, and look at that. Oh, it's so nice. It was so tender, fall off the bone tender. What I was wanting to do was to pull it off and then shred it and then put it back in with the sauce and thicken the sauce and do all that fun stuff. But the guys were really, really hungry tonight, and I just wanted to get it plated up and served. With this condensed milk taking a little bit longer, I just skipped that step of shredding it and thickening the meat. But this condensed milk, it looks good to me. I felt like this was a good turning point to shut it off and remove it from the heat. It seemed like it was a nice consistency for what I was needing it for our dessert that I'll be making later. So yeah, I just shut it off and took it off heat and let it just come down to temperature slowly, or come down from temperature slowly. So I made these in tortillas. I was planning to make some tortillas using a sweet potato and some chickpea flour that I found, but I did not get time to do that today because I was working on a different vlog. I was actually working on a farm vlog with Iceman and Chaz doctoring a horse naturally, which we've kind of got a series going on with that. So if you're interested, you'll have to check back for that video tomorrow. But anyways, I did find these tortillas to use. So I just broke some pieces apart of the beef and put it in the wrap. And then I just added some of the lettuce and some cheese and cucumbers. And then I topped it with some of my homemade salsa. Now, let me tell you, I just did a couple of vlogs on the tomato varieties that I am growing this year for making and preserving salsas. So I have peppers and tomato videos out. And if you're interested, I will link those below because I grew over 1,000 pounds of tomatoes last year and I made a lot of salsa. So if you're interested in the tomato varieties that I grew last year and I'm regrowing this year because of their production in a short season, check it out below.
That's good.
Even with Pepsi in it?
Mm-hmm.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how many Chaz stars do you give it?
Like 10.
A 10?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So 10 stars from Chaz with meat cooked in Pepsi. Next is the dessert. So this is my condensed milk, all good to go, and I just drained off a can of crushed pineapple, and this is a can of cherry pie filling, and I just mixed the drained crushed pineapple with the cherry pie filling. I would have preferred to have used blueberry or actually made my own using Saskatoons. I think that would have worked much better for what I'm creating here. I'm just winging this. This is just a total made up thing by me. So Chaz loved it in the end, you'll see. But it definitely wasn't my favorite, but I don't really like desserts like this, but Chaz really did. So basically what I did is I mixed the condensed milk. I mixed half of what I made, which would probably be the equivalency of one small can. And I mixed it in with the pineapple and the cherry pie filling. I think that there's a recipe, it's some kind of a pie that makes this mixture or combination, but I think they use blueberry. I can't remember the name of the pie, so if you know, please let me know. So what I'm doing is I'm going to use some cinnamon toast crunch to make like a parfait. So I'm just adding some cinnamon toast crunch to the bottom of a few jars, and then I will layer in the pie filling condensed milk pineapple mixture with some Cool Whip that I found in the freezer. Like, these are all things that need to be used up, right? So this is what I'm doing. The only thing is I thought about doing it thinking, oh, I have condensed milk in the cupboard, and I didn't. So I had to make some because I didn't have any. And but it was all because I wanted to use these other things up. So, this is a pantry challenge. Use up what you got and whatnot. So, yeah, I put Cinnamon Toast Crunch down, and then I put down a layer of Cool Whip, and then I'm putting down a layer of the cherry pie filling mixture, and just kind of like lasagnaing it, making a parfait. I think instead of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I was thinking I was going to use Golden Grams, but some little mouse named Chaz ate all of them. Or it could have been Tyson too, because he likes to eat those as snacks as well. But Cinnamon Toast Crunch actually worked really good with the cherry pie filling. I wasn't sure how good it would taste, especially with pineapple, but it worked. It wasn't too bad. So yeah, I just kept layering it. I added another layer of graham, which was the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, then a dollop of the Cool Whip, and then some of the pie filling. And you can make these ingredients stretch a really long way. Like, it looks like a ton of ingredients in here, but it really is not. Like, I'm using a teaspoon, and just like it really stretches ingredients. You can make a lot of food stretch a long ways. And actually, the rest of the filling that I didn't use, I'm planning to make little parfaits for Chaz's lunch so he can take them to school, and he has like a really awesome treat and whatnot, and it'll still use up this stuff. I might even try freezing it and see if I can freeze it and then thaw it. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's set up really nicely too. Once I filled this all up, I just set it in the fridge and I let it do its thing and firm up. I did notice that the graham wafers, the longer they sit, the softer they get. So if a person likes the crunchiness, you would definitely want to serve them before they had absorbed too much liquid and such. But it was good. I definitely would prefer using blueberry, I think, over cherry. I'm not a cherry pie filling fan. Or even apple. I think apple pie filling in this would be so delicious. So if you are someone who cans your own pie filling, you might want to try this. And I think you might like it because it's a great way. Like, Tyson ate one, he liked it. And Chaz, he devoured it, as you'll see. He literally, I don't even think he was breathing in between mouthfuls. He was just inhaling it. So, well, if I hand you this dessert spoon, whatever I give you, you have to eat it.
Okay.
Are you sure you want to make this deal?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, no desserts can be that bad, right? Right?
You're a brave soul.
Thank you.
Does it look good?
Yeah. Tastes good too. Holy man.
Holy man, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So out of 10, what do you think it is out of 10 stars?
Like a 10 for sure.
A 10?
Easy.
I'm on a roll again.
Mm-hmm.
Molly, is he sharing his dessert with you? Huh? He's not sharing with you?
Not a chance, Mo.
Oh, poor Molly didn't get any desserts. Maybe there's cheese. Well, it got 10 Chaz stars, so that's kind of cool. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight, and I hope that you enjoyed and were inspired. Please let us know in the comments, what are you making from your pantry? And also, what inspires you to try new things?